Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today with a question that it feels a little bit illegal to ask out loud. It's the kind of question that usually stays buried deep in the group chat, or maybe just festers inside your own head at 3 in the morning when you're staring at the ceiling.
The dangerous questions are usually the best ones.
Aren't they?
They really are. They're the ones that get to the messy truth of how we actually, operate as human beings.
Exactly. So here it is. Have you ever wanted to win a breakup? And I don't mean the, eat, pray, love version of winning where you go to Italy, find yourself, eat some pasta, and forgive everyone who wronged you.
Right. The noble path. The high road.
The high road, yes, that's noble, sure. But I'm talking about something a little darker. I'm talking about that primal, gut-level desire to surgically dismantle your ex's ego by finding someone who isn't just different, but objectively mathematically better than them in every single measurable metric.
Ah, yes, the concept of the revenge upgrade. It's a fascinating psychological phenomenon because it completely rejects the modern idea of moving on. In the traditional sense, you're not just moving on.
No.
You're talking about moving from surviving grief to weaponizing your happiness. It's not about finding inner peace. It's about establishing comparative dominance.
Comparative dominance. I love that term. And honestly, I think we've all felt it at some point. That split second where you think, I hope he sees me happy and I hope it just ruins his entire day.
It's all about validation. I mean, think about it. When we get dumped or cheated on or devalued in a relationship, our ego takes a massive, massive hit.
Of course.
The revenge upgrade is a way to externalize the repair work. Instead of just telling yourself, I'm valuable, you force the world, and more importantly, your ex, to acknowledge, I'm valuable because look at who wants me now. It's proof.
It's concrete proof. And that is exactly what we are breaking down today. We are doing a deep dive into a text that serves as basically a masterclass in this specific tactical maneuver. We are analyzing a short story by Lauren Blakely called The Rival Upgrade,
which is part of her Love and Hockey series.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, right off the bat, using professional sports as the backdrop for this kind of psychological warfare is, well, it's brilliant.
It's perfect, right?
It is. Because in the real world, better is so subjective. Is an artist better than a banker? It depends on what you value. But in professional sports...
Oh, it's not subjective at all.
Not at all. Better is a stat sheet. It's a salary cap. It's a draft ranking. It completely removes the ambiguity.
It takes the emotion out of it and turns it into pure math. So here's our mission for this deep dive. We are going to deconstruct the anatomy of the perfect revenge plot. We have 3 main phases to get through, and we are going to take our time with each one because the devil is truly in the details here.
And you have to start at the bottom. You have to understand the low point to appreciate the high.
We do. First, we're going to analyze the downgrade. The ex-boyfriend who is so realistically excruciatingly annoying, I actually had to put the text down and take a walk around my living room.
I get that. He's very recognizable.
Then we're going to look at the strategy, how our protagonist weaponizes her ex's very specific, very deep-seated insecurities, and finally the upgrade himself. We're going to look at how this story takes the classic fake dating trope and pivots it into genuine, high-stakes intimacy.
It's a study in competence versus incompetence. That's really the core theme we're looking at today, I think.
That's a great way to put it. So let's set the scene a little before we meet the players. We are in New York City. The energy is high. We have 2 rival hockey teams, the New York Red Hawks and the New York Ice King.
The classic crosstown rivalry.
And colliding with this very testosterone-fueled world is the music industry. Our main character, Camden, is a pop singer who is in the middle of launching her own club.
And that intersection is really important. I mean, you have 2 industries, pro sports and pop music, that are built entirely on ego, on public perception, and on performance. It is an absolute powder keg for narcissism.
That's so true.
Everyone involved is just used to being the center of attention all the time.
Speaking of needing to be the center of attention, let's talk about the man we love to hate, the downgrade. His name is Erik Karlsson.
Erik, the defenseman for the Red Hawks. Now, often in romance novels or, revenge stories, the ex is a villain in a very cartoonish way. He kicks puppies or he's secretly a Bond villain.
Right, he's just evil for the sake of being evil.
Exactly. But Eric is written differently, and I think that's why he's so effective as an antagonist. He's written as the insecure alpha.
He is the death by a thousand cuts kind of boyfriend. He's not physically abusive. He's just exhaustingly self-absorbed. There's a constant low-grade annoyance to him.
Right. And the breakup doesn't happen because of one sudden dramatic explosion. It happens because of a cumulative lack of respect that just grinds the relationship down into dust.
And the source material opens with a scene that I think belongs in the Smithsonian Hall of Fame for red flags. We're calling it the protein powder incident.
It's so specific,
Yeah.
and it tells us everything we need to know about their dynamic in about 3 paragraphs. It's incredibly efficient storytelling.
It is. Walk us through this, because it's not just about the powder. It's about the space. It's about ownership.
So Camden is working. She's a professional. She's successful. She's trying to get things done for her big club launch. And she's in her apartment. This is her sanctuary, her workspace.
Key detail. It's her place.
And Eric wakes her up, or at least interrupts her flow tearing apart her kitchen. Not his kitchen, hers. He is frantically looking for his specific whey protein.
And the text makes a point to note that she has protein right there on the counter. It's not like she's anti-protein.
No, she has egg protein, or maybe a plant-based blend, but Eric just dismisses it immediately, with contempt even. He needs his whey for his muscle recovery. He has completely colonized her kitchen counter with these industrial-sized tubs of his own supplements.
Let's pause on that for a second. The colonization of space. This is a guy who doesn't even live there, right?
Exactly. But he says, and this is a quote, "I leave all my protein here because 1, you're my girl, and 2, I come here after the gym." He views her apartment not as a home or a shared space of intimacy, but as a service station for his body.
A pit stop.
It's a pit stop. He comes in, refuels, and leaves his mess behind for her to clean up.
And the mess is literal. He finds his giant tub, he scoops the powder out, and you just know he's stilling it everywhere. And then he blends this disgusting shake with spinach and spirulina.
A massive green sludge.
Yes. And then he leaves the blender dirty in the sink and says the appliance will need to be fumigated.
He creates labor for her. That's the key here. That is the fundamental disrespect. He enters her space, disrupts her work, creates a mess, consumes resources, and then expects her to deal with the fallout. It's a perfect microcosm of the entire relationship.
It is. But the detail that really gets me, the one that makes me just cringe viscerally, is the finger guns.
Oh, God, the finger guns? Kapow.
Yes. Kapow. He points finger guns at the blender. Or maybe at his own reflection in the microwave. It paints this picture of a man who is living in a movie that is starring himself, and everyone else is just an extra.
He isn't interacting with Camden as a person. He's performing cool athlete guy for an invisible audience that he assumes is watching him at all times.
And while he's doing this little performance, he's muttering to himself. And this is where we see the first real crack in the armor. What is he talking about while he's making his green sludge?
He's talking about his stats, but here's the kicker. He's not just talking about his own stats. He's talking about Shaw Coleman's stats. He mutters, "Gotta have better stats than Coleman this season."
Coleman being the star defenseman on the other team, the New York Ice Kings, the rival.
Yes, and this is a classic example of what psychology calls triangulation, although usually that term applies to 3 people in a romantic conflict. Here, Eric has triangulated his relationship with Camden with this third party, Shaw Coleman, who isn't even in the room.
He's a ghost haunting the relationship.
Totally. He cannot exist in the moment with his girlfriend because he is constantly, obsessively measuring himself against this other man.
It's a full-blown obsession. He complains that Coleman was drafted higher, makes more money, has more points per game. It's pathetic, really.
It is deeply unsexy. Insecurity is the ultimate libido killer. Here's a guy who is a professional athlete, ostensibly at the top of the world, playing in New York City. He should be on top of the world.
You'd think.
But he feels small. And because he feels small, he needs to make Camden feel small to balance the scales. He needs to dominate her counter space because he can't dominate the stat sheet against Shaw Coleman.
Which leads us directly into the breakup, the inciting incident. In this scene, It's like watching a car crash in slow motion where the driver is checking his hair in the rearview mirror while he's hitting the wall.
It starts with the mustache.
The protein mustache. I forgot about that. He's standing there lecturing her about how the Red Hawks are going to go all the way this year, and he has this literal white line of protein shake above his lip.
And it just completely undercuts his authority. It's a visual representation of his obliviousness. He thinks he looks like a god. He looks like a toddler who just drank a glass of milk.
He has no self-awareness. And then his phone buzzes.
And this is where the ego really shines. Eric is so absorbed in his own hype that he just assumes it's his agent. He thinks he's being booked for a lifestyle interview because, of course, the whole world wants to interview him. So he asks Camden, his girlfriend, not his assistant, to check it for him.
He delegates the labor of his own ego management to her. Check my phone, babe. It's probably fame calling.
Just spoiler alert for anyone listening.
It was not fame calling.
No, it was infamy calling.
So Camden picks up the phone, and the text describes a bunny avatar. The photo is a woman, just from the neck down, wearing a red lace baby doll nightie, and the caption is simply, "Are we on for tonight?"
It's classic. I mean, it's almost a cliche, but that's the point. Eric is a cliche.
Yeah.
But here is where the deep dive gets interesting for me. It's not the cheating itself that is the most insulting part of this.
No, it's not.
It's the stupidity of the cover-up. It's the lack of effort.
He tries to lie. He looks at the photo of the lingerie, this very obvious photo, and says, "That's my publicist."
Which is just a panic lie. It makes absolutely no sense. Why would your publicist be sending you a headless photo in lingerie asking if you're on... It's an insult to her intelligence.
And Camden, who is sharp, immediately counters, "You don't have a publicist. She knows his business."
And he tries to double down. "I just hired one." But Camden is done. She's not going to argue about the existence of some phantom publicist. She scrolls up in the messages. And she decides to read the text history aloud.
Which is such a power move.
Oh, it's incredible. She is forcing him to hear the evidence of his own betrayal in his own words.
And what she finds is it's just plagiarism.
It's completely recycled material. The text says, "Can't stop thinking about the way you taste. Your mouth is fucking heaven." And Camden has this moment of horrible recognition. Those exact words to her, maybe a week ago.
That hit me hard when I read it. It's the efficiency of it all, the laziness. He has a script.
It devalues the intimacy completely. If he says the same thing to everyone, then his words to Camden meant nothing. It wasn't about her or their specific connection. It was about him getting off. He's running a play.
He's treating women like drills at hockey practice. Same motion, different cone. It's completely mechanical.
It is. And when he gets caught, the nice guy mask just slips off instantly.
He's vaporized.
We get immediate Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. He calls her a crazy ex-girlfriend for getting angry. He actually gets mad at her for throwing his protein powder out the door.
Of course he does. The protein is the real victim here.
He shifts the focus entirely from his infidelity to her reaction to the infidelity.
Yeah.
He's trying to make her the problem.
And then he says the line that I think legally justifies the entire revenge plot we're about to discuss. He says, "She wasn't mad at me for blessing you with my direct to."
Blessing?
Blessing. He thinks he is a deity. He's a gift to women.
It's a messianic complex. He genuinely believes his presence is a gift that should be shared. He sees himself as a resource that women should just be grateful to access. It's breathtaking narcissism.
But then, when he realizes he's losing the argument, he tries to twist the knife. He goes for the lowest blow. He claims he was faking his satisfaction in bed with her.
Which is the last refuge of the rejected man. It's the ultimate, "I didn't want you anyway, you weren't that good."
It's a desperate attempt to reclaim power. If he was faking it, then she didn't really have him. He was withholding his true self from her.
But Camden, she has the nuclear launch codes. She was prepared for this.
She looks him dead in the eye and says, "I was faking it, every single time."
And in her internal monologue, she clarifies for us, for the reader, that she actually has too much self-respect to fake it usually. She's an honest person. But she knows this is the one thing, the only thing, that will penetrate his narcissism. It's the one attack he's vulnerable to.
And it works. The text says his eyes turn to ice. It completely shatters his reality.
Because if she was faking it, then his stats are wrong. He prides himself on his performance, on and off the ice. She just told him his scoring record is a complete lie. She just told him he lost the game. He didn't even know he was playing.
So Eric leaves. He storms out, but not before taking one last swipe at her career. He insults her new club, Goddess, implying it's a stupid idea that's doomed to fail.
And that is the setup. He has attacked her romantically, sexually, and professionally. He has created a total war scenario. There are no more rules.
So Eric is gone. Good riddance. But the rage is energy. It has to go somewhere.
The energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred. And Camden is about to transfer it into something very, very specific.
Later that night, Camden is at a bar called the Gin Joint with her friend Jules. They are drinking, they are venting, and the universe, it seems, decides to test Camden.
Jules pulls up a video on her phone. It's an interview Eric gave right after leaving Camden's apartment. He didn't even wait a day.
The body of the relationship is barely cold, and he's already on TV doing press.
And he's on a lifestyle show, of all things. The interviewer asked him about Camden's new club. Now, a normal person, even a total jerk, would say, no comment, or I wish her the best. That's just PR 101.
Eric is not a normal person. He's a petty king. He can't help himself.
He looks right into the camera and calls it that little music club. And then he says, like anyone wants that, she'll regret having opened it.
Little. That word is doing so much heavy lifting. He's minimizing her dream. He's dismissing a venue that caters to women musicians as irrelevant and niche.
And that is the catalyst. That's the turning point. Up until this moment, Camden was just sad and angry. Now, she is strategic.
The grief is gone.
The text shifts here. She isn't just reacting anymore, she's planning. She realizes that his ego is completely tied to his professional standing, and that is where she has to hit him.
And then the epiphany hits. She's walking home, just seething. She passes her local coffee shop, Dr. Insomnia's Tea and Coffee Emporium.
Great name for a coffee shop, by the way. Very New York.
It is. And she remembers something. She remembers a specific customer she saw there in the spring. A man she noticed, but actively ignored because she was being loyal to Eric.
This is the sliding doors moment. She realizes she's seen him before, handsome, chiseled, obviously an athlete, and she connects the dots. That man is Shaw Coleman.
The rival. The man Eric checks under his bed for at night. The man who has the stats Eric covets. The man who plays for the enemy team, the Ice Kings.
And this is where the genius of the plan lies. Camden decides to seduce Shaw Coleman, not because she loves him, she doesn't know him yet, but because she knows that dating Shaw is the only thing that will drive Eric absolutely insane.
It's psychological warfare at its finest.
It targets Eric's deep-seated insecurity, not his heart. If she dated a movie star, Eric would say, whatever, I'm an athlete, I'm tougher. If she dated a banker, Eric would say, I'm more famous.
Right, he'd find a way to spin it.
But dating the man who does Eric's job better than Eric, there is no defense against that. It confirms his worst, most private fear, that he is the inferior version.
So, the trap is set. Camden becomes a regular at Dr. Insomnia's. She waits. She stalks, essentially.
It's proactive serendipity.
Yeah.
She's putting herself in the path of opportunity, creating her own luck.
And finally, he shows up. The upgrade enters the chat. And let's talk about Shaw Coleman, because the contrast is immediate and it is stark.
It's night and day. Eric was frantic, loud, messy, taking up space. Shaw is described as disciplined, observant, and calm. He's British, which adds that layer of sophistication. The accent always helps. But the core of his character is quiet competence.
I love their meet cute, Shaw standing there, and we find out through his perspective that he has been watching her too.
He admits it later. He regretted not approaching her the previous season. So when they finally interact at the counter, he steps in. He doesn't hesitate. He pays for her coffee.
But here's the wrinkle. Camden doesn't want to be Eric's ex immediately. She wants a clean slate. She doesn't want the drama to taint the first impression. So when the barista asks for her name, she panics. She just says Jane.
Jane. The most obvious fake name in the history of names. It's like saying your name is Spy or John Doe.
It is. And Shaw, he knows. He knows immediately.
He absolutely knows. The barista calls out Jane, and Shaw steps in and says, I've got it. For Jane. He knows it's a game. He's playing along.
So why doesn't he call her out? Or get suspicious? Why doesn't he think, this woman is being sketchy?
Because he's confident. An insecure man like Eric would immediately ask, why are you lying? Who are you really? Are you hiding a husband? He'd get defensive.
He'd make it about him.
Exactly. Shaw finds it charming. It's a puzzle. He calls himself her English friend. He plays along with the role play because he's secure enough to let it unfold. He's curious, not threatened.
And the banter starts. She orders a pour-over with oat milk, and he offers to buy the whole shop for her. He says, whatever you want, it's yours.
And that signals generosity. Remember Eric counting his protein scoops. Eric operated from a mindset of scarcity. This is my protein, don't touch it. Shaw operates from a mindset of abundance. Have the coffee, have the shop, I have enough.
It's incredibly seductive. Not just the money, but the lack of friction, the ease of it all. He notices her nail polish gunmetal gray.
He pays attention. That's the bar. It's on the floor. But he clears it with ease. He sees her, not just a female body in his vicinity. He's observant.
And then he makes his move. He pulls an envelope out of his back pocket. He's been prepared for this moment. He invites her to the Ice King's home opener. He gives her a VIP ticket.
And the line he delivers here is the first major upgrade moment. It's the moment where the listener should be fanning themselves. He tells her there are 2 tickets, so she can bring a friend, but he explicitly says, don't bring a date, Jane, since you'll have one after the game.
Swoon. I mean, come on, that is smooth.
That is what we call assumed close in sales.
Mm-hmm.
He isn't asking, will you go out with me? He is stating a future fact. You will be with me. It's dominant without being aggressive. It implies that the connection between them is inevitable.
It's the difference between please like me and I know you like me. Eric demanded validation constantly. Shaw just assumes it.
Exactly. It's the show don't tell rule of writing applied to dating. Eric told us he was a star. Shaw shows us he's a star by handling the interaction with total effortless control.
So the date is set. Camden goes thrift shopping with her friend Jules. And Jules, being the agent of chaos that she is, buys a very specific item for Camden to wear to the game, a New York Ice Kings jersey.
With Coleman 26 on the back, a public declaration of allegiance.
And Camden is hesitant. She feels guilty. She's thinking, I'm using this nice British man to annoy my terrible ex. I am a bad person. I am a liar named Jane.
And Jules is the devil on her shoulder. She asks, is it a good revenge ploy if I'm using someone? And Jules basically says, test the chemistry first. If the kiss is good, then you tell them the truth.
It's moral flexibility.
It's situational ethics at its finest. But it gets Camden to the arena, and honestly, she needs that push. She's a little bit afraid of her own plan now that it's real.
So we are at Madison Square Garden, or the fictional equivalent of it. The atmosphere is electric. Camden is sitting center ice. And this scene really emphasizes the access that Shaw provides.
Right. She isn't in the nosebleeds. She's on the glass. She's in the inner circle from moment 1.
And during warm-ups, Shaw spots her, and he does something that I think physically shouldn't be possible in hockey pads, but, we allow it for the romance.
Board hop.
He hops the boards. He comes right up to the glass where there's a gap at the bench. He's in full uniform. Maybe his helmet is off. He's sweaty, looking like a gladiator coming to see his queen.
This is a public claim. He is interrupting his professional preparation to acknowledge her in front of thousands of people. Think about the contrast with Eric. Eric ignored her in her own kitchen to focus on his stats.
That's a great point.
Shaw stops his warm-up, his literal job, to focus on her.
He talks to her through the gap. He acknowledges the jersey immediately. He says he would have sent her one if he knew her real name.
Which is a gentle jab about the Jane lie. He's reminding her, I know you're hiding something, but I'm still here. I'm waiting for you to be ready to tell me.
And then the kiss. This isn't a hidden kiss in a hallway. He leans over the boards and kisses her in front of 18,000 people and all the TV cameras.
The sensory details in the text are crucial here.
Yeah.
It's described as soft, thorough, not rushed.
Not rushed. That is the key phrase.
Everything with Eric was frantic. It was about his needs, his release. This is slow, it's savoring, it sends a message to everyone in that arena. This is mine, and I have all the time in the world for her.
And then he tells her, confession, I saw you at the coffee shop last season. Wasn't going to let my chance pass me by.
It validates her desirability in a way Eric never, ever did. It makes her the prize. Eric treated her like an accessory to his life. Shaw treats her like she is the main event.
And that sets up the highest stakes possible for the pivot. Because now, she actually likes him. Now the stakes are real. It's not just a revenge plot anymore. If she tells him the truth, she risks losing this incredible budding connection.
The game has changed for her.
Completely. So the game ends. Shaw presumably wins?
He always wins. That's his character archetype. Competence.
Right. Camden meets him after the game. And instead of her having to take the subway, which she used to do with Eric because he was too cheap or too self-absorbed to get her a car, Shaw has arranged a limo.
The upgrades just keep coming. It's lifestyle creep in the best possible way.
But Camden is miserable. She's fidgeting in this luxury car. She feels like a complete fraud.
This is the conscience crisis. She isn't a sociopath. She can't keep up the charade now that real feelings are involved.
And Shaw notices immediately. He asks if she wants to go home, and she just blurts it out. She rips off the Band-Aid. She says, I'm not Jane Smith.
And Shaw just laughs. He says, I figured as much. He's been waiting for this.
But then she drops the real bomb. She says, I'm Camden Tinsley, and I'm Eric Carlson's ex-girlfriend.
Now pause here.
Yeah.
If Shaw was an insecure man, if he was Eric, how would he react to that news?
Oh, he'd flip out. He'd think, oh, she's a spy, or she's still in love with him, or I'm just the rebound. He would immediately make it about himself.
Exactly. He would make it about his ego. But Shaw. His first reaction is disgust. But it's not at her. He asks, you were involved with that prick.
He judges her taste, maybe, but not her intent.
He is genuinely baffled that a woman of her quality, smart, beautiful, talented, would be with a man of Eric's complete lack of quality. It doesn't compute for him. It's like seeing a Ferrari parked at a dollar store.
And then he immediately pivots to reassurance. He puts his hand on her thigh, that physical touch to ground her, and he says, "I'm so bloody glad you're not with that arsehole anymore."
This is emotional maturity on full display.
Hey.
He validates her worth while condemning the ex. He creates a team on the spot, us versus him. He's saying, you're safe now, you're with the adults.
But the conversation isn't over. Camden feels like she has to confess everything. She admits the grand plan. She tells him, "I thought it'd be really hot to fuck Eric's rival."
This is the moment where the story could have gone really dark. She is admitting to objectifying him. She's admitting he was a pawn in a game to hurt someone else.
But Shaw Coleman doesn't mind being a pawn, as long as he's the king on the board.
He sees it as a competition. And Shaw Coleman loves to win. He realizes that by sleeping with her, he isn't just getting the girl. He is definitively proving he is better than Eric at everything.
He literally says, "Let's make this grand plan of yours happen right fucking now, and I can show you exactly how much better I am than him."
It reclaims the agency for him.
Yeah.
He completely flips the script. He's not being used. He's participating. He's a willing co-conspirator in the destruction of Eric's ego.
It turns the revenge plot into a team sport, and they are teammates now.
Which brings us to the intimacy. The chapter title is literally the inspirational feck.
We have to discuss this, because in romance novels, the sex scene is never just about sex. It's about character development. It's where the mask comes off and you see the truth.
Absolutely. It's a narrative climax, pun intended. They go to his penthouse, Highline View, Hudson River.
The setting is expansive. Eric's place, you imagine, was cluttered with protein tubs and dirty laundry. Shaw's place is open, expensive, commanding.
And the dynamic shift is total. With Eric, Camden was faking it. She was doing the emotional labor to protect his fragile ego. With Shaw, he takes complete control of her pleasure.
The text focuses heavily on his attentiveness. He tells her she doesn't have to choose what she wants. She can have everything. He's all about her satisfaction.
It's a direct response to Eric's selfishness. Shaw is ensuring there is no doubt in her mind. He is auditing the books, so to speak, and correcting the errors of the previous administration. He is making sure the fake stats from her past are replaced with very real ones.
There's this great line where Camden says, "I could write a song about this Drac."
Which, as the songwriter, is the highest compliment she can give. That's intellectual property right there.
And she warns him, "I'd better make sure this is a really inspirational feck."
The banter is key here. They are laughing, they are teasing each other. That shows a real intellectual connection. With Eric, there is no laughter. Only lectures about protein and his own stats. With Shaw, there is joy. Intimacy is supposed to be fun.
And afterward, this is important too, the revenge aspect sort of evaporates for her. It's not about Eric anymore.
That's the irony, isn't it? The revenge got her in the door, but the compatibility and the genuine connection keeps her in the room. Shaw asks her to stay the night. He takes her on real dates the next few days. Brooklyn Bridge, bistro dinners.
He integrates her into his life immediately. He proves he isn't just in it for the one-night stand or the chance to score a point against Eric.
He is living well, which, as the old saying goes, is the best revenge.
But we still need the fireworks. We still need Eric to see it. We need the catharsis for the reader.
Oh, we need the public execution of Eric's ego. We've had the private victory, now we need the public parade.
And the resolution delivers this in two perfect parts. First, the club opening.
Remember, Eric mocked Goddess. He said it was a little club and that no one would want a venue for women musicians. He'd get against her success.
Shaw attends the opening. He stands there, he supports her, he watches the artists, he validates her professional ambition, he doesn't try to make it about him or his fame.
He acts as a secure platform for her to shine on. He's the foundation, not the show. He's there for her.
And Camden gets on stage and performs a new song called "Good Luck Kiss," which she dedicates to number 26. It's a public declaration, but the real dagger. The real dagger comes at the hockey game.
The final confrontation, the main event. Shaw invites Camden to the first game of the season against the Red Hawks, Eric's team.
He sends her a new custom jersey. He tells her it's better than the last one she wore.
So she's at the game, and Shaw is ruthless on the ice. He physically dominates Eric. At one point, he checks Eric hard into the boards, and the text says he taunts Eric right there on the ice.
He implies that Camden never fakes it with him.
Brutal. That is psychological violence. He is confirming Eric's worst, deepest fear, that he was inadequate and that Shaw knows it.
And then the visual payoff, the grand finale. Camden stands up in the crowd. She turns around to reveal the name on the back of her custom jersey.
It doesn't say Coleman.
It says upgrade.
Upgrade, in all caps, just so there's no confusion.
That is a mic drop. That is a fatality. It is over.
Eric is described as a fish, just opening and closing his mouth. He is speechless. He has been defeated on the ice, in the bedroom, and now in the arena of public opinion.
It is a total and complete victory, and it brings the story full circle. We started with Eric's insecurity about Shaw's stats. We end with Shaw proving that his stats and his partner are indeed superior.
And the beauty of it is, by the end, Camden isn't doing it just to hurt Eric anymore. She's doing it to celebrate Shaw. The upgrade jersey isn't an insult to the ex. It's a compliment to the new partner.
That's a great distinction. It completely reclaims the word. It's not about the past. It's about her present and her future.
Exactly. The focus is shifted.
So let's unpack the themes here in our outro. We went from that protein powder low point all the way to the upgrade high point. What is the big takeaway for you from this whole narrative?
For me, it's about the function of the nemesis. We often think of enemies or rivals as purely negative things. But in this story, Eric's obsession with Shaw actually pushed Camden toward him. He talked about him so much he made him seem like a legend.
The obsession created the bridge. He basically gave her the idea.
He did, and Shaw's rivalry with Eric gave him that extra competitive edge to pursue Camden so aggressively. He might not have hopped those boards if he didn't know Eric was, in a way, watching.
So does having a nemesis actually push people to be better versions of themselves, you think?
I think so, in a way. Competition drives performance. Shaw was a better boyfriend because he knew exactly what a bad boyfriend looked like. He had a direct counterexample to play against.
He studied the game tape of the relationship and fixed all the holes in the defense.
Exactly. He optimized the romance. He knew what not to do.
And for Camden, what's the big takeaway for her journey?
For Camden, the takeaway is that you shouldn't settle for project boyfriends. Eric was a project. She was constantly managing his ego, his protein, his schedule, his insecurities. Shaw's a partner. He comes ready-made, fully formed.
So the upgrade isn't just about the new person. It's really about upgrading your own standards for what you'll accept.
It's about realizing that you don't have to be a rehabilitation center for insecure men. You can just go find a grown-up who has already done the work on themselves.
That is a powerful thought to end on. Maybe we should all be thanking our ex's rivals.
Or at least, checking their stats online.
Haha, exactly. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the rival upgrade. We hope you found some inspiration and maybe a few tips for your own upgrade.
Keep your standards high and your coffee order specific.
We'll see you next time.